Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome and back at the APAC Manufacturing Conclave, this two-day function, which is the conclave which is happening on 10th and 11th of February. Today is the second day, and the way we have structured this program is we have 9 panel discussions over 2 days, and different domains within manufacturing. We are having the IT decision makers from these domains assembled together. So we have sessions from automobile, from pharma, from FMCG, from energy and utilities, from oil and gas, from steel, from cement, from logistics. Besides, we have 3 sessions, one on smart manufacturing, one on digital barriers and a future workplace, and one also on cybersecurity and blockchain. So today we are assembled for this session on transportation and logistics, and we would like to hear about some of the technology innovations being done specifically for this sector, and especially during these pandemic times when there has been so much disruptions in the supply chain, and how the logistics companies are managing and what is their technology roadmap going ahead. So it's my pleasure to introduce each of the panelists here. May I call on first Sunil Kumar? He's the CTO of Shiprocket.
Thanks for the introduction, Rajneesh. And I have a couple of decades of experience in the industry and have been associated with Shiprocket and looking after the tech function as a whole. And Shiprocket, as you guys must be aware of, we are a logistics aggregation platform and a fulfillment service provider in direct-to-consumer shipping space. Thanks again.
Sure. Thanks, Sunil, and welcome again. Next, we have Raj Sumani, Director Finance and IT of Inland World Logistics. Welcome, Raj.
Thank you, Rajneesh. How are you? Hope
I'm good.
everything.
I'm good. Thank you.
Hi, Sunil, and other panelists.
Sure.
I'm Raj Sumani. Been with the company for more than 20 years now, and yeah, we have been. This company is pretty old now, and we have been into this sector and grown in this sector with all the changes and seen most of the changes till date, and plan to expand on that same thing in the future as well.
Sure, and welcome, Raj. Next, we have Saina Duvuru, who is a co-founder and chief business officer of Happy Locate. Welcome, Sainad.
I think it's a pleasure being here with among you all. Just to give a very small brief, I think while me being a technology guy, I'm a graduate from mechanical engineering from NIT Nagpur. So then worked with companies like Bharat Petroleum for good 3 years, and then found that's not my cup of tea. That's when I moved. I did my masters, and then joined a financial firm in India, majorly HDFC Bank. Then is where I founded Happy Locate. It's a very interesting journey, for the past 6 years. It has been good 6 years that we started Happy Locate. I think most of this journey, would love to even give tidbits, of the journey during the discussion as well. But Happy Locate is majorly into transforming the relocation experience in India, irrespective whether it's a corporate office shifting or is employee relocation or an international relocation. So there's a huge, I think we are lagging behind many of those other countries in terms of experience which was delivered in this segment. That's exactly what we are transforming now. Great, pleasure being here. Rajneesh, you are on mute.
Yeah, welcome, Sainad. Next, we have Lalit Kumar Jha. He's a GMIT of Gati. Welcome, Lalit.
Yeah, thank you, Rajneesh, and good morning to everyone. I'm Lalit Kumar Jha. I'm working in Gati since more than 27 years. I have worked in, this completely in IT from field. I have started from field, and now I am sitting since 15 years in head office and handling network security and the communications for the company. And I have done a lot of certifications, and I have I'm since more than 7-8 years CISO awarded every year from 2-3 agency CISO platforms. So it is good to see today that we'll this share our views, our points in technology with the team.
Thank you and welcome Lalit again. Next we have Rohit Gupta, Director ILS Renas Logistics. Welcome Rohit.
Hi, good morning, Rajneesh. Good morning, all the co-panelists and all the delegates. My name is Rohit Gupta. I am responsible for driving the integrated logistics solutions for our customers in India. So, Renus is actually a German multinational. We have presence in over 800 locations globally. And in ILS here, what we do is all our service offerings, just to name a few, the transportation, customs brokerage, air and ocean, and warehousing. We integrate all of them, and provide a real-time end-to-end visibility to our customers. That's what we do. And in my personal experience, I have been a sailor. I've sailed on tanker and container ships. I have experience of sales, operations, and also P&L handling. And I'm the most non-technical person here in the group, but I am glad to be part of this session and look forward to exchanging some views.
Okay. Thank you and welcome Rohit again. And to moderate today's panel discussion, we have Daya Prakash, founder, Talent on Lease, and he needs no further introduction. He has been a veteran CIO with large organizations like LG Electronics and among others. So welcome, Daya.
Thank you so much, Rajneesh. Thank you so much. And you kind of quickly introduced me, so I don't need to kind of introduce myself again. But happy to be part of this conclave today, and amongst the August audience here or the speakers here, and really excited to kind of hear their perspective on practitioners' view on the industry, how this industry is faring, especially during the times that is unprecedented, and how they have come out of this, and typically the role of technology, the role of business, right? And really looking forward to this session today. Just a quick introduction to Talent on Lease. You mentioned that I've been former CIO LG Electronics and now founded this startup of mine by the name of Talent on Lease. Talent on Lease is into providing techies on demand, in some sense. So I heard you saying that logistics aggregator. So something similar to that, right? A concept in the field of technology. But I'm really excited to be part of this conversation today, and happy that I'm going to be moderating this, and hopefully I'll take away a lot of learnings with me as well as all the people who are attending this session today. Really looking forward to your active participation. Thank you so much.
Thanks there. Before handing it over to you, I'd just like to mention one. This is being watched currently live by about 350 delegates. Plus, the recording would be uploaded on YouTube, and then it will be we will be promoting it via social media. So it will be watched by even a bigger audience. And I'd also take this opportunity to just thank the industry partners who have supported this event. It's Guidance Tamil Nadu, it's Fortinet, Siemens, Click, Morphisec, Avaya, and Choice Solutions, and without whose all support, and Crestron Electronics also. So without their support, conclave of this scale would not have been possible. So without further ado, I'm handing it over to the The stage is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rajneesh. Thank you so much. And once again, hello everyone, and this is Daya Prakash, and I'm your host today. I'll be moderating the session. I welcome you all to today's session. This is part of APAC Manufacturing Conclave being hosted by APAC News Network to bring about the perspective of leaders from the industry, such as yourself, right? So thank you so much for your participation today. The topic of discussion today is digital disruption in transportation and logistics. You must also heard term called creative destruction, I'm sure, right? And what is it? In simple form, it's a process of industrial mutation that continuously revisionalize the economic structure from within and incessantly destroying the old one and creating a new one, right? So this is simple creative destruction or in some sense, when we are talking about digital disruption, this is in parlance to that, right? In today's economy, as you also mentioned during your introduction, that it's very hard to think of sustainability and impossible to think of growth without embracing digital disruption. I'm sure you would all agree with me on this, right? So we all are part of digital disruption today, and to discuss the nuances of the same, right? We have the esteemed panel with us today, and you know, to discuss this bit more in detail, let me just go back to my esteemed speakers, and I'll come to you, Sunil, first, and try and help to learn from you as to what has been happening in terms of digital disruption in your enterprise. If you can walk us through in last maybe couple of months to 1 or 2 years, especially during these unprecedented times.
Thanks there. Thanks for it. So essentially, how if we look at the entire logistics and transportation industry as a whole, so and if we correlate it with the digital transformation or digital disruption, how we call it, so it's a marriage of both software and hardware. How we look at it, because end of the day, it is the physical good which is traveling, and although the industry is pretty old, but still, in order to improve the efficiency and the visibility which is to be given to all the parties involved. So I'll give you take a simple example. You buy something from any D2C brand or a marketplace, and as a consumer, you are aware about sorry, you are aware about the whereabouts of the packet at any given point in time, if it is getting delayed, when a scan is happening. So that is the first fundamental step what digitization gives you, that you have the entire data uh, which is generated as a result of physical movement of goods in this particular case, and that is married to your software. Then you, at this as the second step, you maybe build your processes around data analytics, you build in some sort of ML algorithms, and you try to make the entire supply chain and the operational stuff more efficient in place. That comes as the second step, which is not possible unless and until you take that first baby step of digitization. And that really starts with the marriage of the hardware along with the software, because the scan which is happening is a hardware piece, and
Right.
unless and until it goes to the cloud and you do certain amount of processing, pre-processing on it, and you won't be able to give that transparency, that trust. So trust is again a very big factor in the entire industry, entire ecosystem. Be it trust of your partners, be it trust of the consumer. That is absolutely essential, and in order to achieve it, you need that transparency which comes when the data goes into the cloud and you use your softwares to do into it. Other thing which comes into picture, if we talk about the entire transportation industry, majority of the goods are still transported using trucks. And if we look at the history of few of the companies who have revolutionized the trucking business, so they have made huge use of this hardware and software handshake. So it can be as simple as, if you are transporting perishable goods which have something, and you have those sensors which give you the exact temperature and all that stuff, just to ensure that you can have a quality check in the real time. That is not possible unless and until you have that amalgamation of both the things.
Sure.
Industry is moving towards autonomous trucking, which will end up in reducing the maintenance, increasing the efficiency, and all those things. Warehousing, we all know how these large warehouses operate, and they have matured to a certain extent. But when we talk about goods in motion, a lot of stuff still has to be done, especially in our country, so that this amalgamation of software and hardware which we call as digital transformation, actual digital transformation, because everything you touch and feel, it has a digital connect now. It has to be. If you look around any of the industries. So, for instance, as simple as that, companies like who are into pharmacy delivery business, in turn, they are digitizing yours and ours medical records, which is very handy. Same goes for the transportation industry. So in our industry, and especially in my company also, where we are working as a platform, where on one side we have small and medium sellers and brands alike in direct to consumer space. On the other side, we have our 3PL courier companies. So we have to online all the time, because at the end of the day, we are not the ones who are moving the packets. It is done by our courier partners. So a tight integration in terms of being everything being digital and online, that plays a pivotal part there. That's what I
Sure.
think.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you touched upon so many aspects which I'll be coming back to in the subsequently in the discussion. But let me just take views from Mr. Raj also on the same journey that they would have taken up in their organization. So,
Right.
Mr. Raj.
Mr. Deyaprakash, namaskar. The thing is, I understand the disruption in the transport industry from long. Now, I've seen the disruption from Gati and other people. They started when they were pioneer in one of their transportation services, and they went into the express services and started the disruption kind of a being from PCI to coming up to Gati and opening up the same thing. At that time, they had to burn their lot of cash on themselves. Now people are utilizing other people's funds, and now there are many more players in the digital world who are getting the disruptions technologies into the industries. And what I see is that people are understanding the needs, what the customer requirement would be in the future, and they're planning to evaluate those things and putting up the money and technology on that behalf before the customer is asking, and trying to put ki ye aapko chahiye before they realizing that they need it. And COVID situation has increased that in many fold, whereas the penetration and the requirement of the customers on their mobiles, on their hand, they want the industries, they want their answers and solutions there themselves. So evaluating what we want to find to the customers and understanding the requirement of the customer is very important. If you don't want to burn that much cash, then it is the criteria for us, like maybe try to understand what we want, what we as a provider will provide to the customers, which will enhance their services. And if we have the burns ready, we can also look into the fact that what the customer will be requiring in the future, and trying to provide those services right now so that they can grasp on it. And then they are like, we can't live without that situations.
Sure, sure,
So this is happening in this disruption
sure,
technologies, yes, and
sure.
we are working on this in many ways, trying to figure out how
Great.
much digitization can be there, and at what level the digitization can start, and then that digitization can be accurate to the level so that we don't have to manipulate it. Previously, we had to look at the many entries which were concurrent and redundant. Now that has to be reduced, and a lot of data are in one point, and there's, with the cloud technology, one can evaluate
Right.
anywhere in the world.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Rohit, over to you. Help us understand your journey in last couple of months, 1 or 2 years, especially those, during these current times.
Yes, yes. There, as I mentioned, I'm the most non-technical person, so let me try and still pitch in with some ideas. So, how it started. Basically, you said COVID, and even before that, digitization is very easily said than done, and that's what has been my personal experience. But having been through this journey already, I would say there were multiple needs which actually kicked this for us. We saw issues with data quality. We saw a lot of barriers within the teams, within the business units, and we operate in these large geographies, multiple locations, multiple sites, multiple service offerings. So it was very important that the digitization was the only way forward. And what you said in the beginning, sustainable and scalable, these are the two keywords, and there is no other way around. So digitization was the only way. So, of course, we started with a small project team, and some of the key things which actually led us and helped us in delivering this for our organization, we did it in a very systematic manner. And I'm sure everybody does it in the best possible way. So we had an assessment phase. That was the longest it lasted. So we had to assess everything. What was our process landscape? What is our existing system landscape? What is the end user requirement? We had to map, and then, or not just internal, also external. So assessment really helped us do two, three important things. One was that we got a buy-in. We got a buy-in right from the operator, supervisor, manager,
I think so. A lot of people have some connection issue.
More than one guy is
Yeah, more than one guy in one shot.
one shot.
So you can continue.
Okay. I think so, Sanad, you can continue.
Yeah, so was thinking of the same. Just for all the audience now, I think pardon with the technical glitch which is happening here. So according to me, say technology, has always been an enabler for the end consumer, and technology on the other end, it enables corporates to ensure that being faster, cheaper, and better, which in turn helps customers or consumers, major consumers, to make their make the service that they're availing, or the products that they're buying, much better or much cheaper. Right. Now, for me, if you ask me about digital transformation, which is there now, I think after I had been reading few documents or HBR reviews where I had been seeing. So in London, I think a few decades back, there were these people called morning wakers. These people's job is only to come and wake you up in the morning, at whatever time that you say. Correct. Now, starting where that age to today, now you have your wristwatches which wake you up. Got right. So this is technology. Now, is it required? No, that's a different thing. I think we should not get into is it required or not. But no, this is what technological revolution which has happened. Now I think all the people who are there on the call, I think we came a little late to the party. Technology disruption into your logistics and supply chain had always been overlooked in India majorly, owing to multiple factors. We should not get into the reasons why it has been there, but we have been late. I think now I see a lot of entrepreneurs are getting into this industry. In fact, the transportation industry is the largest industry in India. Correct. Owing to that factor, still many people haven't disrupted it. One of the important factor being, I think the technology adoption. If I talk about the milestone for technology, right? For a company like us, Happy Locate, where we are into majorly relocation management services. So we depend a lot on the truck drivers, who take a lot of energy on their shoulders, a lot of responsibility on their shoulders. But unfortunately, these people, I not say they are illiterate, or they don't know how to use technology. It's not that fact. They still use your video calls. They still use your WhatsApps. Correct. So it's of the technology which helps these end consumers, be it the person who pays for it or be it the person who services this consumer using the technology. Right now, be it I think the companies like Uber, Ola have revolutionized the entire ride-hailing platform right now. Now everyone knows, even an auto driver knows how to use the app. He knows how to give a review. He knows how to chat with the customer. He knows how to ensure that customer experience is better. Correct. Now, this is a kind of revolution which has come very recently. I think now last decade has been disruptors in this area. Now, this is exactly what I would feel. Technology disruption for me. The technology disruption for me should enable enterprises to ensure the services that they're offering being better, cheaper, faster, and in turn enriching the experience of the customers. Correct? So this is what technology for me. Sorry, Daya. I think now in your absence, we had to take this forward in the interest of the larger.
No. I'm extremely sorry. So, Sainath, if you can just briefly sum up what you said, and I'll pick it up from there.
Yeah. So that just to jot down in pointers. So for me, technology disruption. I was giving an example of. I think a few decades back now, I think in the late 80s, 1800s and all, there were this alarm wakers who used to come to the doors and they used to knock with large wooden sticks on the windows, say that hey, wake up at 6:30 a.m. Correct. Today you have those wristwatches which wakes you up at morning 6:30, or your Alexas which wake you up with your favorite song. So this is technology disruption which has happened in other industries. So in technology, in logistics and transportation, I think we are little late boomers. We are coming a little late in terms of the benefit to the consumer. And there have been a lot of technology and disruption which are happening on the transportation side, including those sensors which can give you what is the current air pressure. Or in fact, the Ford uses the amount of technology, the coding which goes into these cars, right? The new age cars. I think that can run, I think at least hundreds and billions of data pointers. So this is what I've been talking of. I think even for us, technology should, while enabling the end consumer in terms of enriching their experience, it should enable the people in the process. All my service providers, be it, like the courier companies, which Sunil was talking of, or the truck drivers, or the packers that we enable, that we disrupt with, and all of them should be the first people who are easy with the technology. I think when they're easy with the technology adoption is the first key, first milestone. Second, important factor for any technology disruption is the vision of the founders. I think has anyone even thought of metaverse? Till the time they have watched, I've not thought of metaverse till the time I watched Player One. Ready Player One by Spielberg. Now, I have not thought of that. There's something called metaverse where you can go shop, all these things. Now companies are investing in metaverse, and the shares are trembling because of whatever statements that they make on the metaverse. Correct. So this is technology disruption, where one, the technology should enable not just the end consumers, the people who use the technology in delivering the services. Second, I think the vision of the founding team is very important in deciding those milestones.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sainath. Thank you so much. Rajesh, are we getting Mr. Lalit back and Rohit also back? I hope we are trying to get them back. But Sunil, let me come back to you. And you spoke about amalgamation of hardware, software, and all this, right? And that's the driving factor. Actually, you spoke about multiple dimensions, and I'll try and pick up those dimensions one by one. But I think my first attention goes to what you said in terms of the hardware software combination, and it's very very difficult to think about it as a combination without thinking about IoT, right? In some sense, right? So I mean, if you can walk us through some examples where you would have actually envisaged something on the power of leveraging IoT and giving the especially you spoke about D2C consumer, and that being the the pampered lot almost, because in some sense they need visibility on a every second basis, right? So while you process the data and everything in the back end, but they are the ones who are not caring about it. They just want to see everything happening in front of their eyes, right? So I mean, help us understand that journey, and I'll come to you, Mr. Raj, also on the same thing, that how you would have enabled this. But over to you, Sunil.
Right. There. So initially, all the fellow panelists talked about the digitization journey as a whole. So if we just look at the IoT part of it, so at a very simple level, these are just devices which act as a bridge. They collect data and they provide it. Data can be any status update. It can be as simple as a small device on a wearable, which the courier guy has it, and it captures the POD or the proof of delivery, how we talk about it, that okay, this is the very iPhone what you ordered, and later that, and it is delivered in a perfect condition, as simple as that. So and but the beauty of that simplicity is that it solves a real life problem. It solves a real life problem. So for instance, we hear about multiple people in the delivery space, that okay, they ordered an iPhone or a costly phone, and they receive the clone after paying so much of money. So who is at fault? Either it can be the seller, either it can happen during the course of the journey, or it can
I get
happen at the, in worst case, the consumer may also be at
sure.
fault.
Yeah.
So a simple wearable or a simple scans which have that when the packet is being picked up, what's the situation, what are the contents during the journey, and at the time of delivery. So there is no chance or of a miscreant or any fraud happening. The other thing which we can have is in terms of Sai talk about the trucking business which is there. A simple device earlier, what used to be a lot of fuel related stuff, where drivers used to do some sort of up and down in terms of the money and other thing. Now everything is online. You know what's the fuel level, how much is paid through a digital means, no need of cash, and everything is streamlined. You specifically know if from point A to point B, the delivery should happen in X number of days. And earlier it was that okay, the truckers used to take their own sweet time. And if we look at last 3 or 4 years, although the road infrastructure has improved over last few years, but still the kind of efficiency which has cropped in the entire supply chain, these IoT devices play a very huge role in that, be it in terms of monitoring, be it in terms of improving the entire process, be it in terms of giving that confidence to all the parties involved. Today, if the
Yeah.
truck is stopped for half an hour, you know that okay, it's standing there. As simple as that.
Right.
As compared to earlier days, you used to ring the phone, or the driver used to call you that boss, the tire is puncture and this that. Today, you know, sitting here, that okay, what's the tire pressure.
Right.
So and
Absolutely.
similar use cases are there in the warehousing industry also. So the entire end-to-end thing is hugely dependent, and these devices have played a huge role.
Great to know that the IoT devices particularly are playing a huge role in bringing the efficiencies, monitoring, and then perhaps improving the productivity also. At a later stage, because once you collect the data, all you do is process the data and bring about those action items which helps you improve the productivity. Right. Fantastic, Mr. Raj. On the IoT side, what has been your experience?
Hi. Again, yeah. In IoT side, there are two factors. What I look into as a perspective is in the world of while driving the car or the vehicles, the trucks, there are IoTs, number of IoTs which are coming up, and that helps in enhancing the experience of the driver, who in turn gives the better cost, and which can be reducing the help in reducing the cost on the overall structure, as well as in the faster delivery of the goods. There are various, as Mr. Sunil said, there are various IoTs, and Mr. Rohit also said that, Mr. Senad said that Ford is evaluating so many IoTs in the so many things. Even in the trucking industry, so many IoTs are being developed, as how much pressure is putting on the brake, how much pressure, how fast is he driving, and then even the governments are evaluating and on the road conditions ahead, so that they can track, so that they should divert if the vehicles, there are too many vehicles on the road on this particular, there's a jam or something or the other. That is also being considered by the government in certain places. So we can read out, even you can use Google in that fact. So if I understand there's a particular road condition down there, and we want to avoid that, if there's a fog, we should avoid that kind of a road at that particular time, and either drive in particular time, so that we don't have that kind of we have a better experience in delivery of the goods, as well as
Sure.
we do better management of the situation. Even in the front of packaging and goods, we do a lot of other various types of transportations, full truck, sundries, part load, and mixed kind of a thing. So, in to get the efficiency on the load, there are two factors. First is what is the weightage? We are limited by the weightage or the dimension of the goods. Now there are certain applications being developed which can understand the design, the actual how much the dimensions of that good is, so that you can plan it in a better so that you can plan it in a better efficient manner, so that you have a dimension as well as weightage control of that goods.
Sure.
And these are the major factors what we are looking into the IoTs right now, and could be
Sure.
other also right now. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much. Uh, Mr. Lalit, are you able to hear us?
Yeah. Sorry, I could not, connect. My this connectivity was gone down, and I
Uh-huh.
tried to see system, but I could not. So I have just connected another laptop. I
No
thought
issues. No
this
issues.
issue is from everyone, or it is from my
Looks
side
like
only.
almost everyone
No,
experienced it. So looks like there is some issue.
it's
But
a
I think
mass
we
internet
can hear.
outage. It seems.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I don't
But
know
I
why.
think
I'm sorry.
we can hear you clearly. We
Hmm.
can hear you clearly. So, Mr. Lalit, you heard the fellow panelists, right? They speak about various experiences around digital disruption.
Hmm.
You have been a traditional industry, right? Of someone who's I would say beginner, advantage of the beginner, right? So, what has been your journey in last 1 or 2 years? If you can explain that, and then we'll come to the other aspect of it. But if you can
Yeah,
at
sure.
a very high level and help us understand what transformation you would have gone through in last
Yeah,
1 or 2 years particularly.
sure. Sure. See, actually, as what I have heard from this Sunil and this Raj, I'm agree with them. Okay, that the we cannot see, we have no options, we have no others any options with us without accepting the market scenario, automation, and digitalization. Otherwise we will not be in market, we can't service this to the customer. See, if you might be sometime you will understand that why customer is asking all these things, but at the same time if you are the customer, you will also ask to your partner, to your vendor. Okay, so you have to think it that way, because I have observed a lot of time we are thinking, "Arey, why customer require this, why customer require this?" But when we are going to the, okay, very simple thing, if we are going to mall, we are going to shop, okay, we are asking a lot of things. Okay, the same way definitely customer will ask, and definitely customer required visibility, automation, everything. We cannot. Okay, we have only option to provide them. If they are giving the warehousing, if they are giving the material, okay, we should understand that this there, like in this Rohit was saying, the logistic courier. Okay, it is good, big responsibility to the courier guy. Okay, logistic guy. If suppose somebody has planned it, some this seminar, or some this customer meet, or some launching or something. Okay, if the same time delivery will not be happen, it is big loss. Loss is not that, okay, you will get the money back, okay, they will give you the freight back. That is not the important. The loss is that this, whatever their business, their partner's business, everything is going to loss, right? So it is very important. Automation, logistic digitalization is very important. And you'll see the journey of in Gati, we are already enabling automation every time. Okay, now for that, the option is, the first option, I what I will agree, that cloud. Okay, we have no option to keep everything in our own data center, traditional data center. Okay, traditional data center we have, okay, we are thinking that we can manage it, we can do everything, but at the same time requirement is coming like boom. Okay, and that you cannot give the solution in a click, but customer required in a click. Okay, so for that, cloud is very important. Without cloud, we cannot survive. We have to get it, the cloud services, cloud logistics, cloud automation. That we have already taken it. We are moving. Second part, okay, that we will not depend on the traditional desktop PC. Okay, our application should be over mobile,
over tab, over the, this, what a customer has. Customer cannot go and sit in their office and go to the PC and then he will track it. Okay, if required, his tracking. Okay, he will require track. He can track it from his mobile. He can trace it from his mobile. He can get the automation alert. Okay, what is the status of the material? How the material is? Where is the material? Okay, so all the things is only possible when we have to when we have done the digitalizations and automations, right?
Sure.
Like suppose when I am just talking like logistic part, so vehicle. Okay, now we have to put a VTS. Okay, and already we have since 7-8 years VTS. So now in that line also we are going for more and more options, like you can track it package wise. Earlier you were tracking that, okay, your material is moving on this vehicle and this vehicle might be in this checkpost or this city or this whatever. But now the day is gone. Now the day has come. He want to see the packet. What is the packet status? Where is in vehicle? In which vehicle? Can I see my packet? It is already loaded. In what conditions? Okay, so that way we are giving the status to the customer. Okay, so that he
Sure.
can track it, he can view the video. For that, we have to automate the VTS system in the vehicle, every vehicle with camera. Okay, so all these things are, this. Even we are giving the option also to the customer, that customer can track it to the driver also. He can connect to the driver. Okay, if suppose he knows that my material is moving from Calcutta to Delhi and it is here. Okay, if I require to know more about that, he can track it. He can talk to the driver also, right? Okay, when you will reach
Wow.
it out. So we are giving
Sure.
completely openness to the customer. Okay, as per their
Right.
requirement. Okay,
Sure.
this is important
Sure.
for us, and we have to if we have to survive in market, we have to do this.
Sure. No, thank you so much. Great perspective. In fact, what you shared and what Sunil also mentioned about the whole tracking, some from a customer point of view, customer ordering a mobile and in return getting uh, not the mobile but something else, and how do you track the whole thing? And there are various parts where all this can happen, and how do you control it through the systems and technologies and processes in place is something that Sunil also spoke about, and Lalit, you also mentioned that those are the innovations or disruptions that are taking in the field of logistics today to give you complete visibility, complete tracking, and everything. So that's fantastic to know that. You spoke about cloud, and those devices and advancement in the devices. Sunil also spoke about the same thing, and let me come to Sainath. You know, uh, Sainath, you are a company which is born into cloud, right? So I mean, for you, I'm sure there would be a different kind of challenges. You are with Happy Locate, what I understand, you are dealing with a completely different segment, right? More like audience, which is or customer base, which is more like uh, you know uh, want to have the kind of experience which is like unmet before, right? So something like that. I mean, your challenges are pretty different, and in your parlance, how are you addressing the challenges or the opportunities hello are you able to hear me, Saina?
You are audible, Daya, but no, there's some sort of lag here. Other panelists now are able to hear me, right?
Hello.
Great. So no worries, Daya. I'll take it forward. And Daya,
Hello.
they understood.
Am I
Understood.
audible?
You're audible now. Let me take this forward. Daya, see,
Sure.
we are into experience industry. We wanted to we relocate memories of customers. Correct. Now, while a lot of logistic companies, in the current scenario, are generally giving a staggered update on the statuses, which means like when you order any item on any shirt through any of the e-commerce company, you get a staggered update saying that no, it has reached this warehouse, it has left the warehouse, it has reached this place. Correct. So no one gives you a real time status of the vehicle apart from your ride hailing apps, which majorly work in the intercity within the same city premises. Now, this is a problem which more than the technology. Technology is available. The VTS systems that we spoke of, this kind of technology is available in the market. The challenge here comes on the kind of vehicles that are being used. Correct. And the last one of the data pointers I want to just give you, I think there are close to 38 lakh. Vehicles which are available in Delhi alone, which are more than 15 years. Correct. Now, if I want to bifurcate that into majorly trucks, I know majority portion of that would be the trucks, because the usage capacity of trucks is much longer as compared to your personal vehicles. So people tend to use these trucks for longer duration. Their running capacity is also longer. Now, 2 lakh kilometers, 3 lakh kilometers is something that you don't, and we don't expect any personal vehicle to run for 2 lakh, 3 lakh kilometers unless until they are your commercial individual vehicles, right? No, this is a problem which we had been trying to face. Now, I think we've used a lot of IoT devices to solve this problem of giving a live tracking for our customers. Right now, when there's a person relocating from Bangalore to Delhi, and we want to give them the live tracking of where is the current truck, where is the truck currently. Even if it's a update which comes in every 1 hour, the state is getting updated every 1 hour. In the journey between Bangalore to Delhi, it had been we faced tough even after placing those IoT devices which are as small as your mobile phone now. Even if we place those trucks, so the cost. And then for any technology, right now, any technology that people invest, we've been investing now, but we would love to take the investment back from the customers, owing to the scale that we might reach. Now, but unfortunately, because these trucks are very old, now we are getting into new technology, which is SIM-based technology, which had been there for quite some time. And I think few of my friends have started their own companies into this SIM-based technology. Now you just give a missed call from your number. It need not be your. You need not even have a smartphone. Correct. Even if say the traditional regular phones which are also there. I think even with those phones, I can track the location of the individual now, the current truck driver, and in turn the vehicle where it is. Correct. Now, so these are, and the pinging, the frequency of pings, and all these things. I think there's a lot of combination that we had to get into to understand. Okay, this is a frequency in which we need to give an update to the consumer, where consumers come and check where is the current truck, so that the cost, the cost impact is very minimal, and the experience is beyond is the maximum, right? So this is where we, as a technology entrepreneurs, right, this is what we look into. Hey, what is the cost impact and what is the experience impact? At the lowest cost multiplier, if I'm able to enhance the experience, and that's where the money goes into, that's where the technology disruption happens. Correct. So this one, I think the newest trucks are amazing. They come with all sort of requirements, on all the IoT devices that we spoke, right? All the sensors of weight, sensing your air pressure, to number of times you are pressing your brake or accelerator, or even the amount of pressure that you're putting on a steering rod. So all this decide whether the person is active, he's not sleeping, because truck drivers generally drive longer distance. While a lot of companies, including us, we emphasize on the fact that you don't want them to drive alone. You want them to drive as a double drivers, so that it gives us the speed of delivery and also safety to the driving partners. But many a times it doesn't happen on ground. Now, can we put cameras into the cabins and then check are there two drivers which are there? I think these are challenges which we want to solve for the future, to ensure that the driver partners safety is the utmost priority for us as well, apart from ensuring the consumer experience. Right?
Sure.
And
sure. Great. Thank you so much.
There's 150 million codes which goes into a Ford pickup truck. 150 million lines of code into a Ford pickup truck. Correct. So as compared to that, even aerospace engines is less. So that's what I've been hearing, and there's a lot of technology which is happening, and we are going to see it in the future. Yes, please go ahead.
That's great to know that. That's great to know that. Mr. Raj, we spoke about digital disruption. With almost everybody agrees that there's a lot to be done and being done around the efficiencies, productivity, etc., right? I mean, I would like to know from you any views you would have around certain areas which you still feel are challenges in terms of thinking about digital disruption, but there are certain areas where you still think that it's difficult to kind of go to the journey of or embark on journey of digital transformation, because everything is not technology. All of us, we understand it is people process technology, right? So any areas that you wish to highlight on that side, that would be great.
Yeah, the tech adoption is the important part on all of the things, I would say. There, it is there that everybody has to understand that this is required, and then making that feel, and then making them believe that this is the thing that is the way it should be working, and this is the technology we need to adopt to use this, training the people in using those techs, and then getting the output is also time consuming and cost involvement there as well. See, after tech adoption, also there's a part of governance. Is the tech what we have developed, which we have used, is that giving the right thing to the customer, to us? The data which we are putting up, are they already in the manner we believed it was? And then use that in the visibility module, in that did we plan this and we received that, and is it giving that kind of an output overall? So overall, and in all this also again tech is required to understand, analyze, and throw the view how is it coming up in the whole picture. Now
Sure, sure.
we have developed many times many systems and techs and use many hardwares in that sense, and we failed to realize the importance of it when we didn't see where we lacked and how we didn't get the output of what it was purposely built for. So we
Sure.
didn't make the correct necessary changes in that particular times. So but with today's world, I believe in last 5 7 years we are regularly checking on what we have developed, is it really helpful or not, and then outpacing it with the other things which are there in the market. That is also very important in the tech industries and digitizations, that we have to come up with something today and be ready to be let go of that thing tomorrow. What we have developed could be good for
Sure.
today, then tomorrow it will not be that useful, and there are better techs, and that we have invested, and we have to see that we have got the result of it, and find now move to the otherwise trying to uh,
Sure.
pick up as much juice out of it will not help you in that sense.
Sure. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Rohit, if I may come to you, understand from you, that digital disruption is about technology, but then end of the day, it's a combination. People, process, technology, right? Some of the challenges you still feel that are to be dealt with by the organization, especially with your background. I am sure that you will be able to give us some good inputs on this.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you. First of all, apologies for the earlier disconnection. Perils of technology, and then I was missing my IT person who is working from home today. So, well, I'm back now. So, yeah. So, I think it's a very, very relevant question today. We have been all talking about the enablement that technology does for us. So today I think we will have to look at what are the pain areas, and we will also have to look at the trends to be future proof. So if I talk about pain areas from an organization standpoint or from a customer standpoint, we are looking at people dealing with multiple partners. We are talking about different portals being provided to us or to a customer. We have the information is there. Everybody has information, but then it's not real time and it's not at one place. So the two challenges that I feel, that still needs a lot of working and disruption is, one is data capturing, because everything starts at what you capture, how you capture, when you capture, who captures it, whether it is being captured manually or you can automate it, whether EDI will work or you need to deploy OCR or RPA. So we really, I think, need a little bit of more technology and disruption to define that single source of truth. We still see a lot of teams working on different data sets, same data sets being captured at multiple stages of the entire life cycle of a shipment. So one is that. So there have been ways that we have done it, and of course a lot of other co-panelists here, and the teams outside are doing it. Second, I feel is on the exception management. We have all this data with us, but data has an expiry. So everybody was mentioning about something being ordered from a e-commerce site, and we being able to see the location or the integrity of the cargo for that matter. But if a cargo is supposed to reach me, or a shipment is supposed to reach me today at 3, and I get an information an hour later that it's not arriving today, that information is of no use to me. The information is there. Somebody has put in a lot of efforts, a lot of money, a lot of technology behind collecting that information, but then it's expired. It's of no use. I have lost the window of opportunity. So this is where, to an extent, you can deploy the master data tools, the validations. It's nothing fancy. These are small validation tools, in the background, small bots. But this is one place in the entire supply chain event management I feel needs little bit more disruption, just to make sure things move as we want it or our customers want it. So this is my
So
input there. I hope that helps.
sure.
Yeah, I will
I'm
pitch
just
it
trying
here
to, yeah,
if you'll allow me.
yeah, Lalit. Yeah, please, Lalit,
Yeah,
please go ahead.
the Sumani is telling the correct thing, and as I have observed that he is not a pure technical person, technology guy, but yes, he is a functional person. So definitely his experience is the best experience, and idea also. So I'm agree with him. A lot of things like this bot part he told, and okay, the data. The data is not important. The data, how will narrate the data, how will form the data, how will update
Sure,
the customer, in which way,
sure,
that is the important.
sure,
So now in Gati we
sure.
have a lot of things. We have done it. We have gone to the Salesforce. For first we have started for sales part department only. Now we have started for service department also. Now service department and sales department can see any details for their
Hmm.
customer. Now we are adding
Right,
to the customer also. Now the chat
right.
part, what he told. So we have already started chat. Okay, bot chat
Sure.
for our web servers. For the
Hmm.
customers, we have started long 3 4 years back. Now we have
Hmm.
started RPS. Okay, for the capacity management. Okay, then the same time, like suppose I'm giving one example. If suppose my truck is coming and it is 20 kilometers or 40 kilometers far from my warehouse, okay, the
Hmm.
information is
Hmm.
getting update to the our database. Okay,
Hmm.
our
Hmm.
employee, our the team who is the delivery person, who is the unloading person, they are
Right.
ready to this uh, do activity from that side, so that it is
Sure.
with saving time, it is saving money. Okay, and the data
Absolutely.
this is correct. Okay, so these things
Absolutely.
are very important. Data should be in correct format, data should be in correct okay, and it should be this uh, report should be generated like a customer requirement, which will give the
Right. Right.
feature benefit to the customer.
Sure. No, I mean, we spoke about the whole journey, and thanks, Rohit, for bringing it up, and Lalit for bringing it up. We spoke about, right from a journey from, just from data to information to intelligence, right? And if that is not around, and within that also, if it is not something that kind of helps us take a proactive action, that is an expired information or intelligence and has a little or no use actually. Mr. Lalit, on a lighter note, I agree to the whole discussion points that have been brought up by Rohit, during this conversation today, and I do not agree with him on one aspect, which is he's not technical, right? So I'm not going to take that. so
Yeah, I'm agree, I'm agree.
he understands technology well. He is a business person. He understands technology equally well, right? So I mean, on that note, I think we are almost 4 5 minutes into the discussion, and then we'll run over time. But before that, I think one aspect which has come out, the whole proactiveness piece is one side. Anybody who wants to share their views on this, most welcome. The second aspect, that has been brought in is, by Raj, about around, we adopt technology today and that technology is of no use tomorrow, right? I mean, and in the process we have we have made a lot of investment out there, right? So we are being the custodian in the organization to kind of make sure that we don't end up uh, organizations making investment in areas, in technologies which are like fast evolving, that we get into a situation that we are not able to reap the enough ROI before it phases out. And how do we ensure that? So these are my two open questions, and I would request anyone who wishes to answer this, just raise your hand, and stage is all yours. uh, yeah, Rohit, let's start with you.
So I think this is about the get a technology getting phased out, and we not being able to reap the benefits out of it. So like I said, the assessment is a very important phase. That is where you define your cost versus value proposition. And I'm telling you, it will be a good problem to have, actually, because today we are sitting at a situation where people are not ready to digitize, people are not ready to move. So if we reach a stage where we have already digitized our current situation, and we are moving ahead and it's phasing out, that'll be a good problem to have. But another important thing is, if we only look at our current pain areas, that is where we will face this problem. So we also need to study the trends, and that is how we will make ourselves or the technology that we are adopting and truly be future proof. So I think it's more about assessment, and it's more about not just the existing pain areas but the trends that will help us get rid of this problem.
Sure. Thank you so much. Mr. Sunil, yeah.
So I perfectly agree with Rohit in totality. And just one small thing, side note on the same thing is, we make investments in technology and then we see that, okay, it has become obsolete. But investment is one thing. The kind of learnings we get from it are instrumental in the acting as the stepping stone on the next version. So for instance, in 2005-6 first iPhone was launched. If it was not launched then, and we have seen version upgrades, so that is how the tech evolves.
Yeah.
A classical example will be any automobile. I mean, if you look at any of the, say, Honda City car 5 generation back, or a BMW 5 generation back, so it evolves. So the kind of learnings which we have, that is one thing. And second thing, definitely we have to be cautious that, okay, what use our learnings in understanding what lies in the future. That will also give us a fair idea how much investment to make on what points to touch, as Rohit pointed out.
Sure. Thank you so much. Mr. Raj, you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to point out one thing important, that understanding the data inputs was very hard. Now, internet and so much with Jio and Airtel, so much penetrations of the internet around the world, around the country, and people in all around us are using the phone for WhatsApp, for FaceTime, Facebook, and YouTube, and everything. It's very hard to understand. It's very hard to say that people are not understanding the technology. Everybody understands the technology, and everybody knows what's happening around them. It's very hard to say I don't know how to use the computers. Nowadays everybody is trying to make tech which is user friendly, in a sense that they can use on the phones. You don't have to understand or learn certain things to use the tech. And even us and other people, Amazon started it, us starting the even tech industries, transportation industries, everybody's trying to put everything in a way that users who doesn't understand the tech also can be able to help in providing the input of data as well as retrieval of data and understanding of the data. Background people are trying to use those inputs and those waypoints to provide an efficient service and cost efficient services as well, I would say.
Sure. Thank you so much. Any last comment from you, Sainath?
Yeah, see, while we are not talking of technology being absolute, I would say technology evolves, correct? Now, irrespective, so there are always few technology doesn't work for us. Now, since Raj took off the name Amazon, right? I remember Jeff Bezos saying once, so they invest billions of dollars in multiple ideas, right? So that's what investment, that they are the early innovators, right? Now, many of those fail, but the few succeed. Right? Now, just to say an example, I think when they invested $1 billion in multiple ideas along with Prime Day, Prime feature, right? Only Prime worked out and others didn't work out. But today the Prime is their Prime method or Prime service is giving them all the money that they invest in the technology. Correct. Now, this where I come to Rohit's point. The assessment is very important when people like us decide on investments. When we wanted to invest some money, we need to have a very strong philosophy or strong data pointer which says this kind of technology which will enable consumer to have a better experience is very important. And if you don't have that data pointers, and just not the data pointer, but the frequency of the data pointer or the number of customers who are wanting the data. Now, else it becomes a Rolls Royce where now you build it's a project-based work. Now, if you want to build a technology which is being used by mass consumers, then you need to do a lot of assessment because the cost comes to an advantage when you have such kind of technology built for a larger audience than for a shorter audience.
Sure.
This is what I would assessment and I think vision of the founding team is very important when we do such investments.
So, Saina, this is typically a situation where I love the leadership positions, such like all of you today, esteemed panelists on this conversation, right? Where on one hand, you have to ensure that the investments that you make, assessment or whatever, right? So the investment that you have to make last long, gets you enough ROI, but at the same time, you shouldn't lose your eyes on, a concept of failing fast, as you mentioned, Jeff Bezos, AWS, Amazon, or whatever, right? So I mean, we have to kind of balance it out. So we should definitely be doing taking an approach of fail fast, but at the same time also not getting into a situation where we make investment, get stuck, and not have reaped enough ROI through that same thing, right? So
that's why
wonderful.
One technology, one methodology which will work. It's called lean methodology, which will help us in understanding. The invest. See, let's say if I'm allocating, let's say 100 crores of money for an technology that I want to bring in or take it to the consumers, right? Now, we need to use this technology, this methodology of lean methodology, where even immediately after investing 1 crore, can I build an MVP, minimum viable product with the same kind of service that I want to give it? Is it working? Is it in the direction of my experience that I want to deliver? If it's working, then you go and invest your 99 crores. Not that I invest 99 crores and then understand is it working or not. So this is where you should understand what is your threshold of investment, where even if it fails, it doesn't pinch the customer experience or the customer wallet. I think that's how we need to move forward. This is what I would say.
Absolutely. Wonderful learning through this session today. And I don't have enough words to say thanks to each one of you for your very active participation, sharing your experiences, and helping the audience also learn a lot. A lot of takeaways. I can't even summarize that because a lot of dimensions which got covered, and I'm going to really take post this session good 10 minutes to think about the whole thing and then see that what all takeaways that I can have. And I'm sure that similar is the state of audience here, that to be able to digest what they have received in terms of practitioners view from each one of you, to kind of really think about it and put them into actionable items for themselves, to apply it and reap the success further, their success in their career and in their profession. I think wonderful discussion. Thank you so much, each one of you, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you, Rajneesh, so much for giving me this opportunity to moderate this session. I feel lucky myself.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks to all the panelists. Notwithstanding the little connectivity issue, this was really a great discussion where we sort of talked from data, information to analytics, and even a little look forward to the future, how the industry would be looking like. So, as I mentioned, I just take this opportunity to just declare a little bit of token of appreciation for each of you. And our team will subsequently get in touch with you, take your home address, and they will be sending a little bit of token to each of your homes. But we'd like to hand it over the certificates here, and these certificates will separately mail you also. So I'm announcing the names one by one. First, Sunil Kumar, CTO Shiprocket.
Thanks, Rajneesh. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here. It
Welcome,
was
Sunil.
a pleasure and a learning experience of listening to all of you. Thanks again.
Thank you. Raj Sumani,
Thank you
Inland
and
World Logistics.
appreciate for having me here.
Sure. We had the Rohit Gupta, ILS Renus Logistics.
Thanks, Rajneesh, and thanks, Daya. Thanks to all the co-panelists and the delegates. Glad to be part of this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohit. Lalit Kumar Jha, Gati.
Thank you.
I think you are on mute, Lalit.
Lalit seems to be on mute.
Yeah, Lalit, you are on mute, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for the appreciation, Rajneesh. So it was very good session, and we like to continuation of this type of thing so that we can, also learn, and we can, this exchange our views, which will help to everyone for their, this betterment. And again, thanks for the calling me and giving me opportunity to attend this session.
Thank you. Sainath Duvuru.
Thanks, Rajneesh, and thanks, Daya, for moderating. I think thanks to the entire audience and the co-panelists. I think it was a wonderful learning session for me for sure. Thank you for giving me here. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Raj Somani.
I think so. Already gave my thanks notes. Okay, thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
And to Daya Prakash.
Harit, thank you so much, Lalit. You had Rajneesh, you had already given me this opportunity to moderate this session, and this is on top of that. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed today's session. I'm going to connect with each participant today. Right in next 10 minutes over LinkedIn, and look forward to lifelong learning from their experiences, and hopefully we'll meet in some other panel discussion sometime soon.
Sure, definitely. And we'd also like to see each of you in, and hopefully next time in a face-to-face physical interaction, so these connectivity issues are not there.
So,
So great.
there's no more
Thanks to all of you.
there's no
And
connectivity
wishing all of
issues.
you a good day. And thank you.
Thank you, team. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, once again. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Stay safe.
Take care.
we'll be in
Bye.
touch.
Stay safe.
Stay
Good
safe.
day.